Hi, my name is Matthew Borson, and I'm the managing partner here at Straight Path Wealth Management. And now that we're halfway through the year, I think this is a great time for us to stop and do a mid-year checkup. Figure out where we're on track, where we've fallen off, and look at a couple key things that are helpful to make sure that the rest of 2025 is successful. And so today, I want to talk about 4 different things. One is, what is a mid-year checkup? What does this look like? What are the things I should be looking at? And how do I make sure I set myself up for success? 2, I want to talk about curveballs, things that may have changed in the first 6 months of the year and how to adjust for those, how to plan around those, and how to make sure that you adapt appropriately to the things that have adjusted so far in 2025. Third, I want to talk about why a financial advisor may be able to help you through some of these questions and make sure that you stay on track. And fourth, I want to talk a little bit about how if you do decide a financial advisor is right for you, how you can schedule a free 15-minute consultation with someone on my team to talk through what a mid-year checkup would look like. So first, let's talk about what a mid-year checkup is. A mid-year checkup is really looking at what your goals were at the beginning of the year. What are some of the things you were trying to accomplish? It might be saving for retirement. It might be debt payoff. It might be trying to fund a large purchase. What were those goals, and have you made progress on those goals? Are you saving what you calculated you needed to save? Are you investing the correct way? Are you putting the extra payments towards that debt? And basically measuring, hey, in January, these were the goals I set for myself, and have I made the appropriate progress? And that may sound overly simplistic, but sitting down and making that list is a really important part to make sure that you stay on track, because things just tend to slip. Also, halfway through the year is a good time to make sure that the investments that are funding things like retirement or your major purchases still match where they need to be. And this especially pops up with funding major purchases. Maybe what your investment strategy was in January needs to adjust now that we're in June or July, because you're much closer to the goal and needing to spend that money. And so making sure that you check your investment allocation with your risk tolerance and the goal and time horizon that you have is a really important part. Also looking at your budget and making sure that your budget and the goals that you had set for your budget is still on track is really important. Because overspending tends to creep up over time. And we're now 6 months into 2025, and it's very likely that you've started spending different amounts in different categories, and that maybe it's time to reframe, relook at your budget and make sure that you're still on track with what you want to accomplish, and see if you need to reset your budget to make sure that you can still do what you need to do. I want to talk a little bit, though, about what things have maybe changed in 2025 and some of the curveballs that you may have experienced and how to adapt to those. A financial plan is not a set it and forget it strategy, because things change. Investment strategies maybe need to change, inflation expectations change, interest rates change, maybe even your goals have changed. And so making sure that you take stock of, hey, this is what's different over the last 6 months, and thereby I need to do some things differently going forward is important. We've seen a lot of volatility in the stock market. We've actually seen quite a bit of volatility in some of the interest rate movements as well. And so making sure that you reevaluate what you're doing and how you're doing it is really important. Looking at an investment rebalance too is a really key thing, even for things like retirement that are maybe a long ways off. An investment rebalance is really important to look at in the middle of the year, because assets perform differently. So far in 2025, we've seen international stocks do exceptionally well. Meanwhile, we've seen US stocks not do near as well, and bonds are just slightly positive. And so big performance gaps like that create out of whack asset allocations that maybe mean that you need to make an adjustment, just move everything back in line with where it needs to be. And lastly, I'd revisit your goals, because goals are probably changing as you go throughout the year, and making sure that the goals that you set in January are still accurate for the life changes you've experienced for the first 6 months are really important too. And so if all of this feels like a lot, that's what a financial advisor can step in and help you look at. They can help measure your progress towards your goals. They can help lead you through discussions to make sure the goals that you set right now are still the best goals for you going forward. And they can make sure that things like your investment allocation are still on track. And so if an advisor is someone that you'd like to have stand alongside you and walk alongside you to do this mid-year checkup and make sure that even not just over the last 6 months, but going forward that you stay on track, please reach out and schedule a 15-minute consultation with my team. You can do it right through the link at the bottom of this video, as well through our website. And you're able to schedule a free 15-minute consultation to talk about some of these issues with a financial advisor, get their opinion on it, make sure that it makes sense, and then continue to move forward and accomplish your goals.